Thank you for joining us for this ProLink Plus Emergency Fund open public webinar. We're excited to, share with you our solution for the Homeowner Assistance Fund deployment, and due to the urgency involved in rolling out, the solution to meet this new program need, we felt it would be in everyone's best interest to host these open public events. Give you some good information about what we are offering as part of our solution package. And then, from there, we were happy to host, meetings with the agencies interested in learning more about what ProLink can do as part of your planning for this new program. So with that, I'll go ahead and jump into our presentation. I am Bree Kruder. I'm the Executive Vice President of ProLink Solutions. I've been with the company for almost 13 years now. And joining me is Josh Brown, Director of Strategic Initiatives with E&A team. I'll let him introduce himself.
Good afternoon, everybody. We're happy to be here. E&A team is excited to be part of the team that ProLink has assembled to try to offer solutions to the HAF program implementation, and we're happy to be here with you all.
Thank you, Josh. Okay, quickly going through our agenda. I'm going to give a brief overview of who ProLink is. Then we'll head into, the Homeowner Assistance Fund guidance that's been released that we all are aware of and know of, really kind of setting the table for then discussing ProLink Plus and our solution package around this new program. And then I'm going to hand it over to Josh to go into more of a deeper dive on that HAF planning that we are all preparing for. Finally, just discussing briefly our delivery model for this solution towards the end of the presentation. So ProLink Solutions, we've been in the affordable housing industry serving as a technology solution provider for a number of years now, over 20, I think we're 22 going on 23 here. Our clients, some of them are on the call today, and I thank you all for being here. We serve, across the industry, state and local housing finance agencies, supporting tax credit syndicators and investors and developers, really focusing on our work of providing technology platforms that support tax credit origination, bond allocation, asset management, compliance monitoring, and emergency fund deployment, which is why we're all meeting here today. So really our goal, our mission as a company is to create systems that bring efficiency to, all the different pieces, all the different, constituents involved in building and maintaining affordable housing in the U.S. And we really feel like the more we can collaborate in systems, in technology, and in working together, the more efficient and the more housing we can really support as a nation. So that is the ultimate goal and really the foundation of every tool that we offer through our technology and our services. And then finally, our team, we are dedicated to our mission of helping our clients solve the affordable housing problem. That is, again, what we all live and breathe and do every day. Our team is made up of technologists and industry experts in affordable housing, and a lot of technologists who have turned into industry experts after many years working with ProLink. So that is what you can expect in working with us. This slide is just a quick picture of some of our clients. Again, some of them represented on the call today, and we're so grateful to them. A lot of these agencies are using ProLink HFA, which is that tax credit and bond allocation, asset management and compliance tool that we noted earlier. We also have a few of our clients represented on here who are using ProLink HHF, the hardest hit fund technology that we originally built and is essentially the foundation of ProLink Plus, which we'll be talking about today. And then you can see over on the right-hand side, we have a few of our syndicator and investor clients represented, in that right-hand corner for that piece of our work. So here's the exciting part that I've been just, really looking forward to announcing. I've given a few spoiler alerts along the way to some of the agencies we've spoken to in recent weeks. ProLink Solutions and E&A team, the reason why Josh is joining me today is because we are teaming up to support this HAF program, both through technology and through services that we can provide. Our goal is really to offer a turnkey solution to the industry, to the agencies, recognizing the urgency and the timeline that is ahead of us. We want to kind of go forward with our best foot. As I mentioned previously, ProLink, our whole kind of foundation is built upon collaboration and bringing people together and eliminating those silos. And we feel the same way internally in the way that we structure our work and who we work with. So, ProLink, we are serving 12 states on the ProLink HFA software suite and a few more with ProLink HHF. We've been in the affordable housing industry for a long time. I'm sure a number of you recognize our logo. We're strong supporters of NCSHA and other leadership groups in the industry. And we really try to, foster and maintain and build those relationships so that we can be active participants in these issues, in your goals, and in the initiatives as a country that we have to improve our affordable housing across the nation. So with that, I'm going to leave Josh a little time to introduce E&A team, really giving you a picture of how ProLink's background in technology and E&A are really well suited to work together on this initiative.
Thank you, Bree. I appreciate that. So E&A team has been in the affordable housing industry for 25 plus years, since about 1992. We've been working with clients in all 50 states over that time. And we like to say E&A is everything and anything that is needed in the affordable housing area. And we like to think of ourselves as bridging the gap between the different parties and industry partners and kind of making those connections that need to be made. And because of that, our model really fits into ProLink's model very well, where they're solving the affordable housing problem. We're trying to bridge the gap as well. And it just feels like a really good synergy between us, and we're excited to be part of this team and delivering these services and working with them. Some of the things that we have provided over the years in assisting clients in affordable housing is on the consulting end and helping to advise and consult on their program needs or related to accessibility in their properties, things of that nature. Extensive training experience, developing training and delivering that training, and it's of a high quality, as well as compliance reviews and file reviews to help maintain that compliance with those programs. So that's kind of what we do and why we feel that this is an excellent opportunity to team up with ProLink and the other service providers that they're going to bring to try to offer this turnkey solution to fit the puzzle pieces into what you may need in order to make this program a success.
Thank you, Josh. Okay, so quickly, I mentioned earlier, we want to set the table, for where this discussion will lead us. So we did put a fact sheet together of the Homeowner Assistance Fund, what we know and what we're tracking right now. We're all aware of the American Rescue Plan Act that really this has drawn from almost a $10 billion fund to help mitigate the financial hardships experienced by homeowners affected with the COVID-19 pandemic. We have some eligibility considerations and thresholds that we need to keep in mind with this program, and some new ones that are different from HHF. The one that comes to mind for me is the socially disadvantaged prioritization that we need to make sure that we adhere to and build into this program. So, and then we have our timeline. Once that program was acted upon in March, we just passed the deadline for submitting those fund requests from Treasury. So congratulations on getting through that process and hopefully getting some clarity on if you are going to be allocating those funds. I know it's been a waiting period the last few weeks on that. And now we're headed into May and June, where we need to be focusing on that pilot program implementation, and submitting that program plan back to Treasury by June 30th is the date that we have right now. So, we're all aware of these things that are happening, and we're going to talk about what we're prepared to do to meet those requirements and meet those dates. The latest Treasury guidance, that's what we're using to track and make sure we are on par and up to standard with everything that we could possibly know to date about how this program will be administered. That in coordination with discussing, keeping active discussions with industry leaders like NCSHA and as many agency groups as we possibly can be involved with. That is our way of doing so. Ryan, my team member behind the scenes, is going to be posting, I think he probably already just did, the link to this guidance. So if you want to take a look at the latest, that is available to you there. And so now we're going to go ahead and start talking really about our solution and what we're going to, what we are prepared to do as a company, as a team of services and technologists to support the HAF program. So this picture, again, kind of a bird's eye view, orienting ourselves to all of the different pieces that we need to consider in the HAF program. ProLink Plus is represented in the middle as that technology. And then on the left-hand side, you can see we have our homeowner portal illustrated. And then on the right-hand side, you can see our agency back-end portal in the yellow. So we have our homeowner far on the left-hand side. We have our state housing agency, Treasury, HUD represented for reporting in the upper right, and program management, which may be that housing agency, may be a separate program manager in some instances. So, at a high level, we have our homeowner who will be applying for HAF support through an electronic application portal. We also have a service team at the ready to provide call center service support. So one thing that we will be talking about in a minute is, kind of the options around our services that we offer. We're really trying to allow flexibility for agencies to make the best choices with what they need. So while we do offer a number of services to pair with our technology, it's not required by any means. It can be a leg up if there are not already good services in place. If you're looking for some of these providers, we are getting a leg up in timeline because we're working with these providers now. We're getting a head start on training and integration with our technology to make this as efficient of a process as possible. So going back to this picture, that call center representative is doing that initial processing and application intake. At that point, we may establish, a process between the call center and agency staff and how paper applications and other ways of applying may need to be handled. And that information, at the end of the day, it's all going to go through that homeowner portal and transition automatically into that agency backend database, where we will have underwriting and processing, additional processing taking place. We have, the built-in reporting that's going to the parties that you see represented above. And then we have our CDF, which we expect will be the common data file kind of form of communication between the agency and the servicers. That is an automated file that is generated out of our system. So that is represented on the far right-hand side with that mortgage holder and servicer party. So moving forward, I'm gonna just go ahead a little deeper into the features included in ProLink Plus. So I mentioned on the front end, we have a homeowner portal. That is built. One thing I will say in preface is all of these things exist today. We have just, timing and our work history has given us, a fortunate leg up right now in having an existing tool, having our ProLink HHF platform as the basis and foundation for ProLink Plus. So, this list is existing technology. We are making some enhancements to these features, more for user interface. We certainly use our cell phones a little more strategically these days than we did in 2010 with the HHF program. And so those things are being done and are under development now and are going to be released in the earlier part of June. But we are looking at a list of existing technology that is proven and that agencies are using actively, and have been for many years. So on the homeowner portal side, we have our automated pre-qualification process, that pre-qualification questionnaire built in up front that we work with you, with your agency in perfecting and making sure it meets all of your needs. It is web-based. It does support document submission, picture submission. There's a hardship affidavit that is built in. That was a requirement of the HHF program, and we will be updating that in working with agencies to effectively support that hardship affidavit piece of the application process. We are mentioning right in this first list, the one addition we are having here is that counselor / call center services piece that is an option for ProLink to be able to support as a service provider. And then finally, the status updates from these applications, when those homeowners log in to see the status of their application in that portal, it'll be real time for them. And then on the back end agency portal side, we have, team assignments built into the tool. So as those applications are coming in, they'll probably, start to ramp up and hit a peak. And we have the ability to assign those cases based on a number of factors: location within the state, load bearing requirements. So we can, assess the requirements of your team structure and then assign those cases accordingly to help, manage the workload throughout the cycle of this program as it ebbs and flows through this application stage. We have disbursement utility built in, so that allows us to tee up and send the disbursement request files to the accounting department or the department who is involved in processing those payments. Loan tracking is something that is built in because we did have some clients on the hardest hit fund system who administered those funds as forgivable loans. And so we do have that functionality built into the system, and it is available, although I have heard many agencies are planning to issue these funds as grants. Ad hoc reporting is already built in. We call those data views. Treasury reporting, the next bullet, program outcomes, is basically the what feeds into that treasury reporting, and that will be updated as soon as we get the standards from Treasury as to what that report needs to what needs to be changed between the HHF reporting and now the HAF. And then finally, we have the servicer communication piece I mentioned previously, that common data file that needs to be accessible and easily exported out of ProLink Plus. And then the last piece is our executive dashboard and metrics. We have that already built in, tracking number of applications by stage, average days by stage, approved homeowners by income, approved homeowners by MSA. We are expanding this dashboard to be, more inclusive of additional metrics, and we'd love to work with our agencies on establishing, what they would like to see measured on these reports. So looking forward to those evolving conversations and adding even more. Quickly touching on our supplemental services. So these are the additional optional services that we've identified based on conversations with agencies and really preparation for this program. We knew this was going to, kind of all come at once for us. So we want to be able to offer whatever level of services is right for your agency, starting with that program consulting on the front end, which is, it is E&A team who will be providing that. Tailored services assisting you with the setup planning and pilot planning for that submission to Treasury by June 30th. So please keep that in mind. You know, the one thing that is really beneficial between working with E&A and being a part of that program consulting process is that us as ProLink, the technology provider, we are synced up and we know what our technology can do, we know what our plan needs to do, and how to support those things alongside each other and make, you know, the necessary changes, if there are any, to the technology to best fit the program plan. So I think that, you know, starting early and having that alignment between that building of the plan and being a technology provider is really going to get us ahead. We have call center support that I mentioned earlier. We are focusing on minority-owned businesses to support that service to us, which is just a great opportunity. We have underwriting and processing services that we're offering, program management services if required, and then compliance verifications and audit at the end. So again, please reach out to us separately to discuss any of these additional services. You know, whatever formula is right for you is what we would like to offer and help you build. Quickly going into a deeper dive of HAF, I'm going to hand it over to Josh to cover this.
All right, thanks again. So along with what Bree just mentioned, we're available to be involved in those initial discussions to help you design your plans. We wanted to take a few minutes today and just talk about the next step in this process. Now that you've submitted your request as a recipient to Treasury, and now we're into the planning stage and developing this plan that Treasury needs to be submitted. Now, first of all, as I think everybody should probably know, there is an opportunity to get an initial payment of up to 10% of the allocation, and Treasury has identified what that can be used for, and a portion of those funds are to be used for either the funding of existing programs or the creation of pilot programs that can more directly and quickly get resources out to people who are needed. And one example they provide of this is maybe a program that's designed to target delinquency directly and reinstate mortgages that may be in a delinquent status. You know, so maybe paying funds to catch them up or paying late fees or other costs to get that mortgage back in good standing and thereby reducing or removing the threat of foreclosure. That's some idea about the use of a pilot program or maybe a modification of an existing program that you can use some of these funds for immediately prior to the full allocation being issued. Because Treasury says to receive the remaining funds beyond that 10%, participants are going to need to submit an HAF plan to Treasury for approval. Treasury's indicated that they're going to provide a template for that plan to eligible entities and that those plans are due by June 30th, 2021. Currently, we expect that plan to consist of at least 5 categories, and we're going to touch on each of those briefly today. The first is homeowner needs and engagement, program design, setting of performance goals, establishment of readiness, and outlining the budget. So to talk first of all about the establishment of the homeowner needs, Treasury is expecting this to be a data-driven process and analysis that examines data on your mortgage delinquencies, defaults, foreclosures, the post-foreclosure evictions, loss of utilities or home energy services, things of that example. And we need to analyze that data for trends over time and organize that by demographics and geography in order to understand where the need is. They're also going to want to see in the plan evidence of public involvement in the development of the plan, including any public hearings that were held in coordination with the public involvement requirements, as well as organizations that represent these eligible homeowners and how we identify through this data analysis who is in need of assistance. Now, moving on to program design, that is obviously the bulk of the plan, and you can have multiple programs within your plan meeting different needs. But at a high level, the program design needs to be tailored to the needs of those homeowners that were identified in that data analysis and it'll need to lay out the specifics for each program, such as eligibility, the application and review process, how payments are going to be processed, the maximum dollar amounts for each particular qualifying expense, as well as identifying other resources that may be available, like utility assistance or other items that can be leveraged together with HAF or used prior to disbursements from HAF, so that we can get the most out of the funding that's available. It also wants us to make sure that we're not creating unnecessary barriers in the eligibility determination, for example, and the documentation we're requiring, that we're allowing certain waivers or exemptions if needed and related to disability and things of that nature. We need to make sure that that's included in the plan development. They also want to make sure that this plan outlines how this is going to be marketed and targeted to the individuals who need the assistance. As you probably know, 60% of the funds need to be targeted at individuals at or below 100% AMI, and also to socially disadvantaged individuals up to 150% AMI. So the strategy will need to be developed on how we're going to target the programs and through the plan for that. They also talk about information regarding coordination with other participants, using best practices we learn from other participants, other recipients, as well as the resources and context that are shared across a group of the participants, such as how previous programs have influenced the design of the programs in the plan, maybe how the pilot program that was created here in the initial stages was used to learn and to inform how we design the programs within the overall plan. But ultimately, while analyzing the data and the initial steps and in your program design, we need to be thinking about how to include within the plan certain measurable goals, right? We have to be sure to have a method for evaluation of the impact of these programs over time. And these goals should be organized to illustrate the impact on different types, like the type of mortgage, racial and ethnic demographics, as well as geography. And at minimum, Treasury has stated that they want every participant to have at least a goal that is focused on reducing mortgage delinquency. So that's one goal that needs to be included, and other goals along those same lines. Now, the plan needs to illustrate readiness of the participant to implement the plan, and that will include outlining what staffing is going to be used, maybe what systems and technology, which is where this approach of the multiple services comes into play. We can augment and assist you to fill in those puzzle pieces where you may not have that, and we can establish that in the plan to establish your readiness. And in the readiness section, we also need to, at that point, define how that initial 10% funding was utilized in either existing program funding or in the pilot program design, things of that nature. And then finally, there has to be a budget. So Treasury has indicated they're going to provide a template for the budget submission. So the budget will be by program within the plan. If we have multiple programs, we'll define a budget for each, and that will be submitted with the plan as well. So just kind of in closing, as with all federal programs, there's a lot of requirements, obviously, in accountability and compliance that is required in administering these funds. There does appear to be a good degree of flexibility in the design of these programs that would fall under the HAF that can allow you to effectively meet the needs within your jurisdiction. So that's just kind of a real brief overview of how to go about designing the HAF plan. And I'll just go ahead and turn it back over to Bree for some further discussion.
Okay, thank you, Josh. And I know we're almost at our time here, so just a couple slides left in our closing. You know, we've talked about ProLink, we've talked about E&A team's involvement and support of what ProLink is offering for this solution, for this turnkey solution. You know, we are a proven technology firm that has been in this business a long time. I think that is one thing that, you know, is really exciting to me about building this solution is the opportunity to work with industry experts like E&A, and we're really kind of holding that requirement across the board with all of the service teams that we are working with. And we're really, our eye is on the goal of being that full package, being pilot ready, and getting those applications, you know, in the door, allowing that application to start, that application process to start as soon as possible, get those funds deployed as soon as we can. This is a very needed program, and we want to do everything that we can in our power as your providers to make that process seamless, as seamless as we possibly can. So I will say one last thing. This solution is something that ProLink has had its eye on, its focus on for much longer than the HAF program has been discussed. We expected this need to happen when COVID hit us all about over a year ago now. We were planning and expecting to serve this need, and now it's here. So I do want to reassure the agencies. I know that there's a limited number of technology providers and servicers out there to really, have the experience to support this program. And I want to assure you that we are in a position where we feel very confident about doing so, and we have scalability built into our model so that we can do this. And I'm really looking forward to working with you, the agencies, as much as we can coordinate together. I think that'll be just the best opportunity for us in establishing, the program standards that we're all going to be measured to at the end of this. So, I encourage that, and I look forward to being a part of those conversations and opportunities. And thank you to E&A team for your involvement on this. I don't think that we would be near as ready without that industry expertise that they are providing. And I'm really looking forward to offering our technology and services together to support the needs across the agencies. We appreciate your time and look forward to further conversations. Last thing on this slide deck is just a couple screenshots of, here's our agency portal. We also have a quick snapshot of our dashboard reporting in our back-end system. So these are things that, we can certainly dive into in a private demonstration for you, for your agency, tailored to the needs that you foresee having, tailored to the services that you're interested in. So please contact us after this presentation to set up those meetings. Again, we also have another webinar coming up. We have one on May 12th, which is going to be very similar to this one. Then on May 26th, we have a larger presentation prepared, going into more detail across all of these areas, going into more of the technology solution as well. So please mark your calendars for that event. It will be public just like this one, and we look forward to sharing more with you then. And again, I'm Bree Kruder, EVP for ProLink. Here's our contact information. We really look forward to, furthering these discussions with you and collaborating and really doing well by this program and delivering and getting those funds deployed to those who need it most. So thank you for your time, and we'll talk to you soon.